Welcome to Geeks versus Nerds, the debate-style program where we investigate topics no one else has the guts, tenacity, or interest to investigate. The object of the show is simple: secure the title for your team's candidate using facts, obscure knowledge, and trash talk. Tonight, Vader versus Spock on Geeks versus Nerds!
This is the ultimate showdown. The destiny, the death and explosions. It's time for your fancy and will survive. I wonder who it will be. This is the ultimate showdown. This is the ultimate showdown. This is the ultimate show. This is the.
You gotta have balls to call yourself a Dark Lord. Now, here's the question I have. What is with Vader's wheezing? I mean, the Star Wars universe, they can make ships that travel faster than light. They can replace limbs with a bionic equivalent. They can make vorpal blades made of coalesced photons. Could somebody please get into Vader's chest with a can of WD-40? You know the worst-selling motorcycle of all time is the Harley Davidson that didn't make a really loud noise? You figure that's the way Vader feels about his breathing?
Excuse me. What did you do?
It's just a tune-up, Mr. Vader. Got the Minox out of the system, fixed your breather.
Yes, and while I am enjoying the proper amount of oxygen for the first time in years, I'm afraid you're going to have to change it back.
Mr. Vader, you do realize that this is your breathing apparatus we're talking about here. If it fails, I am far more intimidating with labored breathing. Make me wheeze, damn it! This morning the stormtroopers laughed at me even after I killed 3 of them.
And while I'm at it, get me a deeper bucket to talk into.
Jedi carry different colored lightsabers. Blue, green, yellow, even purple if you're Samuel L. Jackson. However, Sith only get one color of lightsaber: red. It's like they lost the fashion show with the Jedi and only get to dress in blacks and reds now. Wonder if there are any gay Sith that take exception to the dress code. I don't care what the rest of the Sith think. My lightsaber is going to be a rainbow. I'm Darth Fabulous. But does that make him the ultimate second in command? Vulcans are not funny. This makes writing something funny about Vulcans very difficult. Vulcans like to mind fuck. They're super smart and can be very persuasive despite their complete lack of emotion. Spock is an alien from back in the day when all that was required to be an alien on TV was a piece of silly putty stuck on an actor's face and a healthy sense of disbelief. Spock is the future man, the person ruled entirely by logic. His role was to make decisions devoid of any emotional involvement. In the same vein, Bones McCoy was meant to represent the past man and be the person who's entirely ruled by his emotions. And they would provide opposing viewpoints and give it to the perfect man, the present man. The present man, in this case, would be William Shatner. See, I think Kirk is secretly in a competition with Genghis Khan. It said that Genghis Khan has managed to have 16 million children today. Kirk was trying to accomplish that in his lifetime. Spock is the unfailing friend and confidant to Captain Kirk. And the world of fan fiction will never let us forget that. But just because Spock loves his friend and loves his friend, does that make him the best second in command? That's what we're here to find out. Let's meet the geeks and nerds. For Darth Vader, Team Geek, and your geek leader, he's the avatar of the crappy die roll. It's Gavin Carruthers. He can do the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, but still doesn't know the true meaning of Christmas. It's Patrick MacDonald. There is a fine line between silliness and stupidity. This man painted that line. It's Lord Nuke Blakehead. And for Team Spock, Team Nerd and your nerd herder, hailing from Antigonish, Nova Scotia, by the way of Vulcan, the man who just returned from Montreal, shaking the hand of Stan Lee. Now he's vowed never to wash that hand again. The trailblazing, eyebrow-raising, logic-spouting, fighting man known as Andre the Answer Myette. Jesus, Ben. He never referred to his testy as Death Stars, but one of them is incomplete. It's Ben Jeddrie. He thinks Shatner and Nimoy should run for office in 2012 under the slogan, "Yes, we..." It's Chris Nyarady! Almost. Hello, geeks and nerds. It is time to roll for initiative. I will let you choose which die you want to use. All right, please roll for initiative. Okay, so, nerds, would you like to go first or second?
We will go first.
All right. Begin.
First off, Spock is the ultimate wingman. Well, Spock is helping the alien king figure out his problems. Kirk is in the back room plowing his daughter. Now, any guy in the audience, thank you. Now, any guy in the audience can absolutely testify the importance of a good wingman.
You gotta admit that Spock is all about logic. It's all about what does Kirk lack that I can bring here? The answer is logic. And he is always there for him, except the only time that he's not is when he's in that horny Vulcan stage of Ponfar. Yeah.
Slash fiction, as alluded to by the Pig Monkey earlier, is a subgenre of fan fiction that is named for Kirk/Spock, because Spock's loyalty, devotion, and friendship to his captain is only understandable by many people in the terms of a romantic relationship. Because even though it isn't really that way, it's just that good.
Spock died in Wrath of Khan to save his captain and his crew. I would bash my boss over the head with a brick if it would get me out of work 15 minutes earlier. Let alone risk my life to save everyone in that place.
Brilliant. Very good. Moving over to the geeks. Geeks, you have 2 minutes. Please explain to me why Vader is the ultimate second in command. Begin.
As shown by the creation of the Death Star, the entire galactic empire is run on fear, and the exact perfect icon of that fear is Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the scariest motherfucker in the galaxy, bar none. To prove that, and you know who else runs on fear? Pimps. Darth Vader is the biggest pimp in the galaxy. He's got his laser sword, his pimpin' stick. He's got his Mandalorian crush gauntlet, his strong pimpin' hand. And when you mess with him, he will smack your planet down. You look at that thing on his chest, he can't see that. His neck doesn't go down. That is bling.
In fact, Vader is such a pimp that when his dick got burned off in a volcano, his wife lost her will to live.
That wasn't... Yeah, that wasn't... Yeah, that count they
Point
had
to
on...
the geeks.
That wasn't midichlorians, that was his sperm count. Now, he's almost 7 feet tall, he's jet black, he's incredibly imposing. The only way he could possibly be more badass is if he was voiced by Morgan Freeman. I can just picture that. It's like Andy always told me, I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Very nice. And I can't get Vader the Pimp out of my head now. Big floppy hat, leopard print, walking down the street, bow, chicka, bow, bow. He's got the light bright there. He could definitely turn it into a speaker system. He could have his own theme music. First, we have to hand out the tokens.
Oh, shit.
So, for Vader, we have the ever-useful lightsaber.
The pimpin' stick.
And probably the only thing that is more deadly to a lightsaber than another lightsaber would be possibly a tricorder.
Nice.
Because... There you go. All right. So there are the tokens can be used at any time to be turned in to rebut 1 point and 1 point only. So, nerds, you have 2 minutes. Please explain to me why Vader is not the ultimate second in command. Begin.
Vader committed the cardinal sin. He killed his boss. If you're going to be the ultimate second in command, I'm pretty sure killing your boss is high up in the list. Sure, they say that you're supposed to kill your boss as a Sith, but normally that's to replace him. Vader killed his boss to save his whiny son.
He's doing it for his boy. Vader, let's be honest here, he's second in command, but he fails an awful lot. He was put in charge of the Death Star twice, and it got exploded both times, and the second time with the help of teddy bears. And listen, I used to like Vader, I honestly did, and then the prequels came out. Was anybody else really disappointed about this badass Jedi killing machine, and then all of a sudden all he kills is younglings? Anybody? I mean, Vader is a lot of things. He is a whiny mama's boy. He is Jar Jar's best friend. And he's possibly the worst father of the year, but he is not a competent second in command.
I have to reiterate in the poor management. He has legions of stormtroopers, and he never taught a single one of them to shoot straight. Michael J. Fox has a better shot at hitting somebody than a stormtrooper.
In order to be a good second in command, one has to trust their superior. Anyone who trusts Palpatine is either a schmuck or an asshole. To show what a schmuck Darth Vader is, he also built a robot whose only purpose was to complain all the time. He failed to recognize Boba Fett as the exact same guy that made up most of his original army, all of his original army, and he never found his son, even though his son was hiding under his own name in his hometown.
We are moving on to the geeks. Geeks, you have 2 minutes. Please explain to me why Spock is not the best second in command. Begin.
The true mark of a man is the quality of his ride. When Vader wants to go off from the Death Star and just tool around a bit, he's got the Executor, Super Star Destroyer, Space Pimpmobile. And if Spock wants to take off from the Enterprise for a bit, he's got a shuttlecraft. It's like your mom's minivan from the 80s. Good luck getting laid in that.
Another thing about Spock is he has no charisma. In fact, he has less charisma than C-3PO, a robot Vader built when he was 8. And you know what? Say what you want about Vader killing the Emperor, but Vader would never take shit from the star of Princess Diaries 2 or the all-brand pitch guy.
I'm going to give a point for trash talk there.
When we're talking about Spock's command ability, it's kind of weak.
Okay, we have a token being turned in. What point would you care to talk about?
The one that he just made there.
Which one?
Oh, about Spock's incompetency at being second in command. I'd just like to point out, during the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, Darth Vader actually wasn't the second in command. Grand Moff Tarkin was. He is the only other Sith in the entire galaxy, and the Emperor doesn't even trust him enough to leave him in charge of his ship.
We're moving on to the next round. The next round is the pig monkey question. The pig monkey question is, in order to be the ultimate second in command, the candidate must have taken command in the absence of supreme authority. Show how the candidate has successfully completed their objective as second in command. And so, nerds?
In the original series episode Galileo 7, Spock was left in charge of an away mission. At one point, they were stranded on a planet, undetectable by the sensors of the Enterprise, stuck falling towards the planet. Spock had the bright idea to eject all the fuel from the ship, light it on fire, to make a giant enough flare for the Enterprise to see him. He was willing to abandon conventional logic in order to save his crew.
Even in the mirror universe, where everyone is evil and very Sith-like, you assassinate your superior in order to rise in the ranks. Evil Spock.
All right, I have a token being turned in. What point would you care to address?
About Spock defying logic by setting something on fire.
Okay.
In what world is setting something on fire not always the most logical choice? I mean, I cleared the snow out of my driveway with fire once. I poured fire-starting gel all over it and lit it on fire. That's obviously the most logical choice.
Back over to the nerds.
Pardon me. Evil Spock, realizing that his evil captain was gone, could have taken action, risen in the ranks, but out of loyalty, he still brought his evil captain back to his evil captain's chair.
And every time Kirk goes down on the mission, it's like, Spock, I have to inspect the local female aliens of this particular planet. Spock doesn't put up a fight. He's like, you know what? I got this, Kirk. Live long and get some booty.
Very nice. Moving over to the geeks. Geeks.
In the absence of supreme authority was the entire original trilogy, because Vader is basically left to clean up everyone's messes until the Emperor shows up in the last 30 minutes of Return of the Jedi to hang a mission accomplished banner in Death Star 2 and walk around in a flight suit. Vader, meanwhile, throughout A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi, is there cleaning up all the messes, which includes killing all the officers who fuck up. And he's not just doing that because they're insubordinate and incompetent. He's doing it because the Empire has massive problems with their pension scheme, and higher-level executives in the Empire are costing them a fortune. Every time he kills a senior officer, that's not just someone out of your ranks who couldn't find the rebels. It's a massive savings on your 401k to pay for a new Death Star.
The Empire is General Motors.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Hey, force choke a couple more guys, now we can afford a second Death Star. And let's invest in the Death Star. It's too big to fail.
Nicely done. It failed twice. And yet they'll build another one. All right, we are moving on to the who would win in a fight.
Well, let's set the record straight. Since Spock does have somewhat of a weak telepathic power, it can be assumed that in the Star Wars universe he does have midichlorians in his bloodstream and thus possesses the power of the Force. So if by chance he does do any mind tricks on Spock, he'll just raise an eyebrow and say, fascinating.
So in that same scenario, Vulcans are well known for having resistance to any telepathic abilities. So any of Vader's stable abilities, the choke or the mind control, aren't going to work on him. So they're going to come face to face. Vader's going to try. He's going to fail. Spock's going to use his superior aiming ability to use a phaser, shoot the lightsaber with his hand, and then take him down with a Vulcan nerve pinch.
Because everyone knows a Skywalker's one weakness is his hand.
Captain Kirk will probably shoot him in the back, and Spock will say, "Captain, that was unnecessary. I had it under control."
Very nice. Moving on to the Geeks. Geeks, you have 2 minutes.
I've got some logic for you. Who's going to win in a fight? The 7-foot-tall, telekinetic, prescient with a laser sword, or the poster child for Asperger's? I mean, really.
So yeah, Vader and Spock are gonna fight. Now, Vader doesn't have to be in the same room. He doesn't even have to be on the same ship. All he's got to do is have him up on screen. You know, he takes out his iPhone, he brings Spock up on Skype, and he just clenches his hand a little, and he gives Spock a very late-term abortion.
Abortion!
I'm going to give a point for a abortion callback.
All right. Never mind a physical fight. Spock versus Vader can be broken down very simply into their dueling theme songs, which involves this. Ba 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 versus Bilbo. Bilbo Baggins, bravest little hobbit of them all.
I'm going to call you out right now. That is not Spock's theme. Spock's theme is da 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 da.
Okay, you know what?
I think technically...
You know what? When Vader gets all messed up, you know, he gets his arms and legs chopped off and dipped in lava, they spare no expense. They build him a whole freaking new robot body and everything. They want to make sure they get him up and running.
Vader's the bionic man. He's Steve Austin.
I don't know if you
But
remember
when
when
Spock-
Spock died,
finish.
they broke
Yeah.
all the laws and came
When
back.
Spock gets all messed up, you know, they stuff him in the space garbage disposal. They don't even aim him at a sun. He comes back.
And he came back.
He comes back later.
never
He's
came
like,
back.
he's
He's
like,
number one.
He's like, Kirk, I have and always will be your friend. Why did you throw me out with all the used condoms? But Spock, it was a glad bag. There was room.
All right.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to... okay.
I have to bring this up because his death is a very important part that logically makes sense that he is the greatest second in command. Spock is pretty much a metaphor for Jesus Christ. He died for the sins of his teammates. He came back to life. Now, in Star Trek, there's also a metaphor for God, which was defeated by Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk is the superior officer under Spock, thus proving that Spock is the best second in command, more so than Jesus Christ.
You know what a real second in command would do with a flooded room full of radiation? He'd have sent somebody else. He's the second in command.
Who has Vader really killed in his whole run? He killed a bunch of sleeping sand people, he killed a bunch of toddlers, a bunch of inept underlings, and 2 old men. What else has he done?
Who will
Force Unleashed,
Who
a
will
crap ton of
save the
Wookiees.
younglings?
Look, I want to say this. If Spock lives in a universe where money has no meaning and people don't use it, can he please stop trying to save money by getting the same shitty haircut at Starfleet Aesthetic Academy?
Listen, I can't take any of the facts that you have about Vader at face value. You want to know why? Because he is at the will of a crazy maniacal overlord known as Lucas, destroyer of childhood memories. Anything can change in the future. In a couple years' time, we're going to have the Star Wars re-release with 50% more no.
Scott
come on.
Bakula.
You honestly
Scott Bakula.
You didn't think that we meant Palpatine when we were talking about Vader's boss, did you?
All right, you have heard the arguments. They've settled in. We're on to the final words. Final words. Geeks.
Sing along if you know the words.
Da 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 da.
Da 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 da. All right. Final words, nerds.
Ladies and gentlemen, make the logical choice. Is Vader the better second in command?
Not bad.
I have a lot of trouble arguing with that one. So you've heard the argument. We're going to put it down now. Are you guys ready? Do we hear it for Vader and the Geeks? All right. You got some Vader love here. How about do we hear it for Spock and the nerds? Well, the first time these two titans met up at HalCon, Vader came out on top. I, as Lord High Pig Monkey, announce the title of the ultimate second in command to be transferred to Spock. That's all for Geeks versus Nerds. Please tune in for the next show.